Hello everybody! Today I will be using shrinky dinks for the first time. So I had some sheets, but I didn't know what art supply should I use. Today I'm going to test most of my art supplies and find out which one works the best. Of course, I need to know what to draw first. I'm sketching something cute and simple. Or that was what I was going to do, but I ended up with cat dog ice cream thing, which is pretty cute, but not very simple. Regardless, I'm pretty happy with the result. Now I'm checking how many of these would fit into one page. I tried to fit as many as I could and I ended up with maximum of 6 per one page. I'm using a black permanent marker for the outlines. I'm making a total of 12 drawings. The second page was a lot simpler. I just traced over the page I already did. After drawing the outlines, I cut them out, leaving a small border around each drawing. For the first ice cream, I'm using color pencils. These are the basic pencils, nothing really fancy about them. They are an alright quality, but definitely not the best. Of course, I'm making the waffle tan. I wish there were more browns in this pencil set, but I need to work with what I have. The pencils felt pretty good on the shrinking plastic. The colors might be more opaque, but it wasn't very bothering. I tried to do some shading on the puppy scoop, which is probably cherry flavored. The pencils didn't want to blend very well, and I had no idea if it was my fault, pencil's fault, or shrinking plastic's fault. The kitty scoop is going to be lemon flavored. Of course, I added some shading and then decided to do stripes on the scoop. And here it is. Okay, now I am testing watercolor pencils, which are my favorite pencils ever. I hope they will provide a better coverage than normal pencils. I am once again starting with a waffle cone, and guys, using watercolor pencils is so much better than regular ones. They are just so smooth and easy to blend. So I went for slightly better shading this time. I am shading the pap scoop, which is raspberry flavor. And for the kitty scoop, I decided to go with chocolate. I also added some stripes to it, so it will be easier to compare. And here it is. I have no idea why I flipped it so many times. I think it turned out cute. Okay, now soft pastels. I can already predict some troubles, mostly because of the texture, but I will give it a try. The waffle is done, that's the rule, and I'm adding some shading, and I'm surprised how easy it is to shade. I mean, the texture is an issue, there's a lot of powder residue, but the colors blend pretty well. Well, the shrinking plastic texture is pretty rough and it doesn't work very well with pastels. I am making the puppy scoop blueberry flavored. I'm also adding some shading because it was quite fun to shade. The cat scoop is banana flavored. Of course, I'm also adding some lines. And here it is, better than I expected. Now I'm going to use my magic pencils. They are higher quality than regular pencils and I'm curious how they will behave on plastic. The pencils are very fun to use. There are like 3 or 4 colors inside one pencil, so I didn't shade the drawing because I didn't need to. I guess the pap scoop is tutti frutti flavored and the cat scoop is melon flavored. Let me know if you have any other ideas. And here it is. I think it looks fantastic. Now I will try to use my watercolors. I know it is a crazy idea, but I want to know if I can get the watercolor effect on shrinking plastic. So I start to paint and it is very hard to paint on plastic, especially with watercolors. I'm trying my best, but it isn't working very well. The paint doesn't flow very well and it is splotchy. I hope I will at least get a watercolor effect on this one after baking. The pap scoop flavor is chocolate and the cat scoop is pineapple. Here it is how it looks. It's very transparent. Now I'm going to use poster paints. I know it is a worse idea than watercolors. They are also water-based, so I'm curious to see how they behave on plastic. Right away I can see many problems with poster paint. It doesn't cover well, so I need to use more paint to get opaque surfaces. It is really hard to use poster paints. It wasn't a pleasant experience. I made the puppy scoop bubblegum flavored and cat scoop mango flavored. I tried to add some stripes to the scoop, but it was really hard to do so. And here it is, all ready, and I do not like how it turned out. The last paints I'm going to use are acrylic paints. After using other types of paint, I was pretty sure you do not use any paint on shrinking plastic. But I gave them a try. They were better than poster paints, but still pretty bad. Ugh, look how splotchy it looks. I made the waffle brown and decided to go wild with other colors. I do not know why I started with a cat scoop. I made it strawberry flavored. I really tried to add some stripes to the cat scoop, but adding stripes with paint is nearly impossible. The pap scoop is lemon cookie flavored. Okay, it is done. Next are kaolin clay crayons. After my paint fails, I had zero expectations for these to work, but surprisingly they worked very well. They were easy to use and easy to blend. The colors were also very bright, which I didn't expect. These overall worked very well. I made the cat scoop mulberry flavored and the pap scoop orange flavored. Here it is, all finished. Now I will use my markers, starting off with promarkers, which are alcohol based, and I thought they will work very well, but the truth is they were kinda hard to use. They didn't want to blend and didn't want to soak into the plastic, so it was wet all the time. I was hoping for a better experience, but it worked better than any paint I used. The ink was also dissolving the black marker I used for the outlines, so I had to be very careful not to smudge it. The pap scoop is mint flavored, and the cat scoop is, I don't know, cotton candy flavored, maybe? I just wanted to use some bold colors. Here it is, all done. Now I'm going to use water-based markers. These markers are pretty nice quality, so I expect them to work pretty well. I had a very limited color palette with this. Of course I used brown for the cone, but I didn't shade it. Maybe that was a mistake. It was actually pretty nice to draw with these markers. They didn't smudge the outlines and they gave pretty nice bright colors. I tried to cell shade the pap scoop, which is probably another mango flavored one. And I also tried to add some stripes to the cat scoop, which is watermelon flavored. Yeah, it was a pretty nice experience. Here it is, all finished. Next are another markers. These are also water-based, but are slightly worse quality. And once again I work with a limited color palette, which is fine, I guess. These markers are the quickest to use. You can color over the lines with no problems. They do not smudge, but they leave some streaks. They are very visible on the puppy scoop. I tried to do some shading, but these markers do not work very well while layering. Here it is, the quickest one. Banana and chocolate flavored. Okay, time for the last one. So I decided to use metallic markers and glitter markers to see how they will behave during baking. I made the waffle cone using metallic markers and the scoops using glitter ones. The markers behaved pretty much like any other water-based markers, but they were very opaque. so I had to be careful not to draw on the line art. I used this pretty light blue on the pap scoop and a very ugly dark blue for the cat scoop. I do not know what I was thinking. While the metallic markers worked pretty well, the glitter ones were a problem. They were leaving these thick streaks. They had a pretty weird texture, as you can see, but this ice cream is done now. So here are all the ice cream, and I want you to take a guess which ones will turn out okay and which ones will not. Here is my guess. I think these will turn out okay and these not really. Now pause the video and think about which ones are going to shrink and which ones are going to crumble, turning into a giant mess. Ready? These are the ones I correctly guessed will turn out okay. As you can see, they shrinked quite a bit, which was expected. Here is the first one I made with color pencils. The colors are quite nice. I don't know what happened, but the blending just disappeared. That's actually my only issue. Of course, when you rub it, they leave some pencil powder on your finger, so I will be covering them with some resin. So yeah, the first one is pretty cute, pretty nice. You can definitely use pencils if you want. Next one is made with watercolor pencils, and I do not know why, but it doesn't have the blending problems, so maybe it is the pencil's fault. I don't know, but I really love how it turned out. The colors are so vibrant. Yeah, of course, when you rub it there is a residue, but that's alright. Overall, the watercolor pencils work very nice. This one was made using soft pastels. It turned out okay, but the colors are weird. They are now more vibrant and the blending disappeared. And of course, it is very powdery, so you need to be careful handling this one. Overall, it looks okay. I do not recommend using soft pastels on shrinking plastic though. Okay, so the next one was made with magic pencils, and I do not hate it, but I liked it much more before baking. I do not like that the pencil strokes are now very visible, but overall the colors are good and that was a nice one. This one was made with kaolin clay crayons and I love it. The colors are so vibrant, so pretty and opaque, and it doesn't even make your fingers powdery, so that's a surprise. It turned out amazing. Next one is made with promarkers. Well, it turned out better than I expected, so that's a plus. The colors are very vibrant, a bit darker than before baking. It doesn't leave any residue on your fingers. It would be perfect if not some problems during coloring. This one was made with water-based markers, and I love how even the colors are. There are no marker streaks, no gaps, everything looks so opaque. It is really a great one. Even on the back, it looks just amazing. Plus it was pretty quick to color. Of course, I didn't do the shading, so that's the one minus. And the last one was made with basic water-based markers. The baking made the colors so dark, you cannot even see the pup's face. Plus, there are a lot of visible marker streaks. Yeah, that's not the great one. Okay, so now let's see the ones I expected to go bad. Well, okay, they all shrunk. This one was made with watercolors, and I don't know, it doesn't look watercolor to me. It looks like poorly colored drawing, like a drawing made by someone who doesn't know how to color yet. I guess it's okay, but more like bad okay. It is very transparent. I don't know if I like it. The next one is made with poster paints, and it is a total fail. I don't know if you can see, but there are some weird textures on the waffle and the cat scoop. I'm not gonna lie, this one looks pretty gross, like it is molding or something. Yeah, I do not like it. Do not use poster paints on shrinking plastic. I think this one is the worst. So the next one was made with acrylic paints, and I think it looks okay. I mean, way better than poster paint and slightly better than watercolor paints. The colors are quite transparent, but that's okay. I like how the cat scoop turned out. It doesn't look that bad, and it doesn't have any bumps. Yeah, you can use acrylic paints if you want. I do not recommend them, but if you really want to use some paint, then use acrylics. And the last one, well, the colors are much darker than before. You cannot even see the cat's face, but at least it is still sparkling, and the pap scoop actually looks fine. The cone is not metallic, which is quite disappointing. Well, this is an experimental piece, so it doesn't look as bad as poster paints. I also like the shimmer. So my first place goes to watercolor pencils, then kaolin clay crayons, then better quality water-based markers, then magic pencils, normal pencils, and promarkers. Now time for a bottom row. Watercolors on the 7th place, then soft pastels, acrylics, cheap water-based markers, then sparkling marker, and poster paints are the last. Okay, that's all. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment and a like if you can, and see you next time. Bye.